Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tradesman Experience. This is the podcast built by tradesmen for tradesmen, where we discuss business, culture, leadership, and the mindset it takes to build a business and life you're proud of. My name is Josh. Let's get into it and let's get shit done. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tradesman Experience podcast. Got some super exciting news for you guys. We, and I say we, the Tradesman Experience podcast and Blue Collar Insiders, our coaching company, is partnering with the Welding Business Owner podcast and the Fabricator Olympics to put on a 2-day event. So if you are in the welding business, you don't have to own it. You just need to be in it. I need you to listen up. It's going to be a 2-day event in Kempton, Pennsylvania, September 11th and 12th. The website, by the way, weldingbusinesssummit.com, if you want to check it out and buy your tickets. But Kevin, myself, Greg Giroux, we're all going to be sharing the stage that day, and we're going to be giving you, not just talking to you, we're going to be giving you tactical, tangible information and tools that you can immediately implement into your business. This isn't about theory. This is about application. This is about execution. We're going to discuss leadership, financial operations, profit, sales, customer acquisition, and so much more. It's going to be a jam-packed day. It's going to be high energy, and I can promise you I'm going to be in your face. And I'm very, very excited about this event. Now, we got a couple options, right? The first one, I'll just tell you, I think is an awesome, because if you own a business, we want you to bring your team. Again, this isn't just for business owners. This is for anyone that impacts the bottom line of the company. And as a business owner and a leader, I will tell you, the more information your team has, the better they can perform. So if you got a shop team this is a 3+ people for a group of 3, $497 gets you the full day of Summit and the full day of Fabricator Olympics. I'm going to be there spectating. Okay, so you'll have access. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be hanging out. Greg's going to be there hanging out. Obviously, Kevin's going to be there. But for $500, 3 of you can come to this event. That is crazy, crazy inexpensive, guys. Crazy inexpensive. If it's you, if you're flying solo, you want to come by yourself, you want to send somebody in your company, a single full Summit pass is $197. This is early bird pricing, by the way. It ends June 30th. The early bird pricing ends June 30th. So for less than $200, you can get the full 2-day pass, full access. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you spend this $200, you can 100x that investment. 100x that investment in less than a year. I want to say I guarantee it, but I know for a fact, because I know the information that we're going to give you. I know the tools that we're going to give you. I know the questions and problems we're going to be able to address in real time, because this is not a stand and deliver only summit. You're going to get to fire questions at us. We're going to solve problems in real time. And at the end of the first day, all of us are going to be on stage together, and we're going to have a full Q&A panel. After the full Q&A panel, we're all going to hang out. We're all going to have a meet and greet. You know, I like bourbon. I like cigars. You might find me with both. But we're going to get to interact. We're going to get to share experiences and stories, and you're going to get to meet a lot of cool people from all over that are coming to this event. And again, day 2, Fabricator Olympics. That's just as badass as it gets. So go to weldingbusinesssummit.com, sign up, get the early bird pricing, lock it in, get it on the calendar, pay this ridiculously inexpensive price to get in. And if you show up to the event, this is what I like about Kevin. Kevin's like, he's intuitive, he's innovative, he's very creative. Every time I talk to that guy, I walk away smarter. We're giving a 200% money back guarantee on this event, guys. 200%, which means we'll pay you for your ticket and then we'll pay you again. That's how much we know and trust and believe that this event is going to change everything about your business. And I'm going to harp on this one more time. I promise you, you come to this event Friday, you hang out for the Fabricator Olympics Saturday, which is going to be a blast. When you get back Monday, you will be able to immediately implement something that will shift the trajectory of your business. I promise you're going to be able to do that. So come out, hang out with us in Kempton, Pennsylvania, September 11th and 12th. Get to the website, weldingbusinesssummit.com. Get your tickets. Guys, I'm super excited. We'll see you there. What's up, everybody? I've been getting some messages and questions as to when we're going to start the podcast back up. So I just want to tell you that, we had to shift around some priorities. Things have been rocking and rolling with the businesses, and it has absorbed a lot of my time. But we're back. We're planning on being back. So I thought I'd kick this off again with a solo episode from the hotlines. I got a request from the hotlines, but when we talk about upselling and upgrading and inform and educate, there's a lot of, I think there's not, maybe not a lot, but there's several different ways to navigate how we treat our clients. Okay. So first of all, I just want to say that if you're not in a home service business, this conversation may not impact you directly, but I still think it will give you really good information and really good perspective, because customer facing service businesses, home service businesses are, they're just different. They're just a different animal. And I know a lot of technicians, a lot of blue collar people don't want anything to do with people. They don't want to work with people. So they try to get into careers or businesses that that don't deal with the public. And I can appreciate that. I can respect that. 90+% of my entire career has been customer facing, has been working with the public, has been working inside the public's home. And if you've never worked in somebody's home, it's an experience that you can't comprehend. But I want to discuss the the dark side and the upside of upselling, and how this can generate good leads, good revenue, good customers, but also how, if it's misused, misled, or mismanaged, you end up driving technicians away. You end up driving customers away, and it ends up being a negative. If we turn back the clock a little bit, I started with a company in my HVAC career in the early 2000s. And I think that anyone that is starting in a career, you're excited, you're motivated, you're ambitious. And when you get into that company, you believe that that company is right. You believe that what they're doing is upstanding. You believe that it is morally and ethically correct, and you pour yourself into it. And that's exactly what I did. I spent 4 years at this company and left because of moral and ethical conflicts. So I'll walk you through a little bit of that 4 year span just to kind of paint a picture. As a technician, we ultimately should be responsible for solving problems and performing tasks that solve those problems, developing our skill set that solve those problems, and doing it in a way that benefits the customer, benefits the company, and benefits oneself. That way, everyone wins. The company that I had worked for cared less about our ability to grow as technicians and cared more about our ability to be salespeople. I despise the term salesperson, salesman, whatever. To me, it feels grimy. It feels sleazy. I've always felt that way. I will probably always feel that way because I have more bad than good experiences with people under that title, where they use verbal jujitsu to manipulate people into committing to something that they don't need. And I will tell you that in my early career, I was trained very well on how to do that. I've I've been to trainings all over the country on how to better sell to the customer. Technicians don't get into the craft to be salespeople. They get into the craft to be technicians. They like to work with their hands. They like to fix things. They like to solve problems. And the way that this company that I worked for kept score was weekly. We were, we had a team meeting and there was always updated information on the whiteboard. And we would review numbers and review average tickets and review sales leads. And when your actions didn't meet their requirements or expectations, you were reprimand is a tough word, but they had a conversation with you about it. Just to give you a technical example, if you had an 11-year-old, I'm going to say 11-year-old unit. That way you knew it was out of warranty. And actually back then, 10-year warranty wasn't even a thing. So let's just say an 8-year-old unit had a 5-year warranty. It's 8 years old and the compressor, there's a failure. It's an 8-year-old unit. The system has a 12 to 15-year life expectancy. If we give them a price to make that repair, which again, back then was probably, $2,500 to $3,500, and didn't set a sales lead, we would be quote unquote reprimanded. Why didn't you have them look at investing in a new system? Then an 8-year-old unit with a failed compressor, whatever the reason may be, we can replace the compressor. The rest of the system would be fine. Physical inspection by us as a professional, I would tell you that I believe that the system was fine. They just had this mechanical failure. Us being forced into pushing high pressure selling, pushing that client into getting a sale, for me, it never set well. And I will tell you by their metrics, I rarely performed well. I was average at best at their metrics because I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. I didn't get into the HVAC industry to high pressure salespeople into things that I didn't think that they needed, or maybe they didn't think they needed. So after 4 years of constantly trying to renegotiate my position in the company, the methods in which we performed, I decided to leave that company, thankfully. But what I took away from that experience has definitely served me well in being able to communicate with clients today, inform and educate them, and discuss upgrades and options. As a technician, being measured and forced to upsell is not going to work. That company today still has one of the highest turnovers in our area because of the method that they operate. And when you force technicians to upsell, you're going to force them out. You've got to understand that as a business owner or a business manager, that you're not training salespeople, you're leading technicians. So as I go through this conversation today and navigate this around and probably several tangents and whatnot, I just want you to understand at the core, blue collar technicians are not salespeople. Tangent, this is also why private equity takeovers is going to damage our market, and this is why they have such high turnovers when they leave, or when they take over a business, because they are requiring their technicians to turn into salespeople. So the good old boy system of solving problems and taking care of customers is replaced by sales systems, high commissions, and people that would rather sell than repair anything. Now, on the other side of this, and I will bounce back and forth across this. A company must generate revenue to be profitable. Companies must generate revenue to compensate their technicians. Companies must generate revenue to buy trucks, pay for marketing, offer benefits, have a facility. Revenue pays for all of that. So as I've matured in the business and matured as business owners, one of the things that I've recognized, and one of the ways that we lead our team, is there are daily revenue targets for our technicians. This position that you have, level 1 through 4, and whether it's service maintenance or install, there are revenue targets. Those revenue targets benefit everyone. It means that we can continue to give benefits. Like we pay 100% of individual insurance for our employees. We give 80 hours of paid time off. We do IRA percentage matches. When you get called out, emergency calls, you get double time from the time you leave your house to the time you get back. The reason we have a lot of these things in place because I've been on the negative receiving end of those systems where you don't get the opportunity to grow and make more money and become better is limited by this glass ceiling of high pressure sales. So first and foremost, I want my technicians to win. I want them to be compensated well. I want to make sure that's why we do double time on call out. If you've got to get up in the middle of the night to leave your family or leave a birthday party or whatever it is that you do to go solve a problem, you should get paid to do so. So we pay double time there and back. Now, our diagnostic fees and our after hours pricing support that. But first and foremost, the goal is to take care of the customer. That is our focus. That is the nucleus of the decisions that we make. We are there to serve the client and create the best experience. We do it with honesty. We do it with transparency. We do it with upfront pricing. We don't charge hourly. Everybody knows what the repairs are going to be before we can make the repairs. So we get their approval. So we have an entire process, a communication and education process for that, and they get to decide. So when you look at the revenue generated required by the position, then you have to step back and go, what are the opportunities to meet these revenue generating goals? And this is where you have to have good leadership and you have to have good buy-in. For example, you need to ask your team, are we offering and selling any products here that we don't believe in? Yes or no? Because if you don't have 100% buy-in on the brand of material, the brand of equipment, the solutions that you're offering, and to kind of specify this to home performance, maybe it's UV treatment, maybe it's filtration, maybe it's water softening, maybe it's water filtration, whatever it is that your company does everyone in the company understand and believe in the products and services that you're offering? That's where this all starts. If I showed up to the office Monday and I said, hey, we're going to start offering this indoor air quality product, and this is how much it's going to cost. The goal is that among the company, we sell 2 a week. If I approached my team that way, we would never sell one. And if we did sell one, they would sell it out of guilt. But if I went to the team Monday and said, hey, we've been getting more questions and interest on indoor air quality products, what do you guys think we should do? What products are you guys aware of that you know and trust that we can offer? That conversation is going to generate buy-in. Once I am able to extract that information, then it is my job to look at it and go, what's this going to cost me? What's it going to cost us to perform the work? Therefore, what do we need to sell the product at? So what does our markup need to be? And what type of commission opportunity or sales spiff do we want to put on this? That equation is going to give me the dollar amount that we need to sell that. So now when I come back to the team with the dollar amount and I go, okay, this is the product that you guys, that we looked at and that you told us about. I researched it. I think it's great. Based on conversations we had, how long do you think it'll take us to put it in? How long does it last? Is there any additional maintenance? What are the problems that it solves? This is how much we should be selling this product for. Now, since this is a product that we chose together, what questions do you guys have about the price? And we can have that open, transparent conversation about the price. And if I have a specific indoor air quality product or a home service product, again, I don't care what it is. Pick your poison, pick your thing. But let's just say I have a specific home air quality, indoor air quality product, and I'm going to commission $100 on it. So I just want everybody to know, say if you have this on your truck, which we will stock for you, and you sell it and you install it right then, your commission on that is $100. If there's a problem with the price, then we have to look at it and go, well, okay, well, if it's too expensive, how much do you guys, how low can we go on a commission or a spiff? And this is where I understand it gets gray, because if you're not already having conversations with your team about what the company needs to do to win and what that means for them if the company wins, this conversation is going to feel very left field. They're not going to understand why you're all of the sudden interested in their opinion of how much something costs or what products you should offer. But again, what I'm coming from both sides of experience on this. When I show up to work as a technician and the company goes, "We found this great new product. This is what it does. It cures butt cancer, and we're going to sell it for $9,000, and we'll pay you guys this much to do it." Okay, great, but I'm not excited about the product. You have to have buy-in from the team. All right. Tangent, because I want to sidebar on this because I want to make sure I don't get too far ahead on the commission stuff. Every position in each industry, for the most part, in your area, in your company, in your industry, for the most part, each position has a ceiling for hourly compensation. Now, if you expect more, you're expected to pay more. And if you're listening to this, I know that you believe that, and you should be the highest paying company in your area. Doesn't have to be by 50%, but you should be the highest paying company in your area if you have higher standards, higher quality, higher expectations, better service, better tools, better trucks, better culture, better benefits. You should be expected to pay more. And your team needs to understand that by offering all of these things to them, that you're going to be more expensive than your competition. But that if you have the right team, they already believe that the quality that they're providing and the value that they offer is better than the competition. So that's one of the things your team has to understand. If we're going to do better work with better equipment and better name brand stuff and higher quality than our competition, how can we be cheaper? It doesn't make sense. The math doesn't math. So then if you put on top of it, well, we want to pay the technicians and employees more. We want to offer better benefits. We want to pay double time for call out. We want to do these things. How can we be less than our competition? So you already have to train the team that it can't be about the money. It has to be about the quality and value of the experience and work provided and performed. That way, they understand that they're being rewarded for their excellence to the customer. And that way, when we do sit down, I can be open and honest and transparent to my client about the concerns that I have or the things that I think that they would benefit from. So you have to have that baseline. If you have a team of repairmen who just want to go out, diagnose the problem or the symptom, change the part of the problem or the symptom, leave and get paid, then they have to understand that that position, if is available in your company, has a glass ceiling. You don't get top pay because your performance doesn't reflect it. And I have said this 1,000 times. I don't give a fuck how long you've been doing this, because what I have understood about longevity, people that are long in the tooth, is they fucking quit a decade before they leave because they felt like they have paid their dues and they don't have to learn anymore. I had a guy work for me. He'd been doing this for 34 years. I have forgot more than that fucking guy knows about this industry. And yes, that sounds braggy and egotistical about me, but the shit that I had to train this guy to do was shit that he should have learned 30 years ago. So I don't care how long you've been doing this. If you can perform and your callbacks are zero and you can solve problems that nobody else can solve, yes, you should be able to generate that revenue with no problem. But because you've been doing this for 25 years, you think you can only generate $1,000 a day because you want to go out and fucking change capacitors? No, absolutely not. You're like, well, I can fix stuff nobody else can fix. Then fucking do it better than everybody else. And I'll pay you better than everybody else. But I can't pay you $40 an hour if you're collecting $1,000 a day on average in revenue. It costs me more to have you employed than what you bring in. I could pay someone half as much and get the same revenue generation. And again, that's very business owner sounding of me. But the reality is, people have to understand the piece and the part that they play with the position that they have in the company. There are expectations. Is now, especially if I've got that 25 or 30-year-old veteran that doesn't help anybody else get better, you're just a terrible team player and you're not worth anything. Told you I was going to jump around a little bit and sidebar on myself, but I just get frustrated when people think that they've peaked and that they should be paid the most to do the least. Fuck off. Go find some bullshit company that'll pay you top dollar to do as little as possible. That's not a performance company. That's not a high culture company. That's not a high value company. That's not a business that's interested in creating the best experience for the client. You just want to fucking coast for the last 10 years, but go away. And I've been doing this shit for 25 years and I still get so frustrated when I see people that have all of this experience and decades of experience and wisdom and knowledge, and they're just fucking fat and lazy and they just coasting because they're frustrated and they've had a miserable career and they haven't made the money they wanted and they've had to deal with bullshit leaders and shitty customers. And it's like, look, I get it. But to the business owners, that's why you have to offer something different than everybody else. That's why you have to offer opportunity different than everybody else. Because at the end of the day, the work sucks. It's hard. It's difficult. I don't care what industry you're in. You've got good jobs. You've got bad jobs. You've got good clients. You've got bad clients. You have good days. You have bad days. It's work. What the hell do you want? I was running some calls the other day and I worked on this fucking gorgeous lake house. Like this thing is like a dream house and it was perfect and meticulous and super clean. And I left there and I called in to debrief. I'm like, this is one of the prettiest houses I've got to work in quite some time. The client was amazing. It just checked all the boxes. The weather was fucking perfect. I had a lake view I'm like, this is the life right here. I am not kidding you. The very next call that I went on was the 90-year-old crazy cat lady. And when I say crazy cat lady, I mean there were cats living inside her furniture like cave goblins. There was no carpet left in the house. So all of the underflooring was exposed and covered in a film of cat manure. The entire house smelled like an abused litter box. So I went from the picture perfect, best call you could possibly go on with the best client you could possibly ask for to gagging my way through solving this next one. So I say that because that's just life. That's life inside of a home service industry technician. Just how it goes. Excuse me, back to buy-in. This is why you have to make sure that the team understands and believes in the products and services that you're selling. Excuse me, goodness. Now we do that shit with everything, our maintenance agreements. We have a 3-tier maintenance agreement system. We don't have just one. We have 3. They have different benefits and they fit different situations and different people and different budgets. I mean, we have maintenance agreements that you get a 10% discount, 15% discount, 20% discount. We've got maintenance agreements where you never have to pay an overtime diagnostic fee. Filters are included, drain pans included. But I built these out and then I sat down with the team and said, I would like to have options for maintenance agreements. Here's what I've come up with so far. And we talked through it together. and we built them together. Now, everybody in the company helped us build this, so everybody believes in it. And now, anyone that we hire is now put into a culture of people that believe in the thing that we're offering. That's how you repeat and multiply when you add people on. If you bring somebody in and you put them with a guy that's like, yeah, they want us to sell these things and this gidget, and I don't think it's any good. So then immediately that person is going to be like, well, why are we trying to sell something to people that's not any good? I don't understand. So it's cultural. You have to have the buy-in. You have to have the conversations. You got to have the education. You've got to have the training with the people that are going to be communicating this to the client. Now, quick, again, another sidebar. If you're a service manager and I made this exact mistake as a young service manager, stop trying to manage people on how you would do something. It is our default management system. We manage people based on how we would do the thing, their job. You cannot do that. You have to manage expectations. You have to manage systems, but you cannot manage people's performance based on how you would do their job. And I made that mistake, and I was a terrible service manager. So you just don't do that. Instead of telling people what to do, ask them how they're going to do it. Because I can hold people accountable to a plan or action or solution that they come up with far easier than I can hold people accountable to my plan, my action, my solution that I've given them. So if you're a service manager, make sure that you're not doing that, because a lot of times companies promote one of their best technicians into a management position because they look at it and go, this guy, this gal is performing well. Let's put them in charge of everybody else so everybody else will perform well. And it is the worst fucking formula for service management, operations management, leadership. It's stupid. It's a stupid, stupid process that companies do. I've been a part of it. I've made the mistake. Cost us a ton of money. I'm telling you, don't do that. When you put someone in charge of people that are responsible for people, they have to be good with people. If I'm a really good service technician, you can't put me in charge of people and expect me to make them really good service technicians, because you may have promoted me because of my technical ability. Don't do that. So how do we, I think I've probably kicked that horse enough where everybody understands, like, high pressure upselling doesn't work. You can't force your technicians to do it because you force them out. You can't offer services, products, and equipment material that the team doesn't have a buy-in on or they don't understand. And you can't develop systems in a company when the technicians or the employees don't know how it benefits them or why it exists. So let's turn this over and talk about what is it that we can do and should be doing to help our technicians become the hero in front of the client. First step, buy-in. You need to, if you've got a group of people and you're struggling with this, you need to set everybody down and you go and just write it all up on a whiteboard and go, these are all of the things that we offer. I want to go through them one by one with everybody, and I want you to tell me if you agree with it, disagree with it, don't understand it, or have a better idea of what we can do. And you go through it one by one. That is going to help you clear the air. It's going to help you clear up the things that you offer, and then it's going to help you get some buy-in. 2, everybody in each position just has to understand that they're responsible for a specific amount of revenue because of the position that they have. That is just performance. That is performing. Now, this is something that everybody needs to understand, right? And write this down. You measure in specifics and you play in averages. I'm going to say it again. You measure in specifics and you play in averages. I had a $450 day the other day in a truck, and I worked all fucking day. And all the revenue that I brought in for that day was $450. That, if you only look at the performance of that day, that is a terrible, terrible day. I didn't even I barely paid for the wear, tear, maintenance, and fuel of the van because as a service technician, I know what our revenue goals are. As a maintenance technician, I know what our daily revenue goals are, but you have to measure in specifics and play in averages. So you have to make sure that the team understands that and they are responsible for generating an average amount of revenue with the position that they have. They have to understand that. They have to agree to that. That's what they're responsible for. And it's not about upselling, it's about generating so them, the company, and the client can win. Now, if you have someone that is struggling with that, right? It's if they're not meeting the revenue targets and they're not generating sales leads or this kind of stuff, this is where you have to coach people individually. You get to work with them. You can't reprimand people for not meeting the goal if you're not coaching them on how to achieve the goal. And this is where, Hippocratic management comes in. And I'm not saying that you've got to be the best at it, but if you are responsible for people and you've got somebody that is struggling to perform and you've coached them up, you need to be able to go next to them, work with them, do a ride along with them, whatever it is, and experience what it is that they're doing so you know exactly how to coach them. Or you take the helm and go, "Hey, just spend it. We're going to do a ride along today, but I'm going to perform. I'm going to put myself in the spotlight here. That way you can critique me." And you show them how to do it. You don't tell them how to do it. You show them how to do it. So you just got to make sure that you're not managing people through failed results alone, that you're spending time with them, that you're coaching them, that you're teaching them, you're educating them, and and they understand how you're keeping score. Okay. So, talking about daily revenues and goals and targets, and everybody needs to know how you're keeping score. And it doesn't need to be elaborate. If you're keeping score on more than 5 things, you're probably tracking too much. You need to pick 5, 6 at the max things that you're going to keep score on, that they understand that you're keeping score on, that they have access to that score, and they know how winning benefits them. And this is where performance goals come in. This is where, you can have spiffs and you can have commission and you can have those things. Now, again, sidebar, you've got to make sure that they're doing the job and not sacrificing the job to get the sales commission. I've worked with a lot of technicians in the past. They're terrible at their job, but they're really good at the sales. So they crush it on commissions. But when you go back and you see the work that they're doing, it's subpar. I think that you need to be a technician first and then you need to learn how to educate. So you got to make sure that again everything is in alignment with the core values and the culture of the company. What experience are you wanting to create for the client? That's another one. It's okay to ask again, ask the technicians, ask your team, "Hey, what what qualifies as a great experience for our client? What qualifies?" And people that are afraid to talk about money, this is what they want to do. They want to show up, change the part, leave, and send the invoice. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to have to talk to the customer. They don't want to have to feel like they have to convince them to do the thing. That's a communication training problem. That's not even so much a person problem as a communication problem. Now, if that person is not willing to get better at communication, then yes, that person is the problem. And I've ran into that. But for the most part, if people understand what is the best way to take care of the customer? Okay, when you have a upsell model, the technicians feel like the interest is only there to serve the company, not the customer. You've got to get everybody in alignment with what's the best way to serve the customer. So if you have additional products or services that you want your team to offer, there needs to be an entire structure built around that. Okay. So we talked about the buy-in. All right, we already discussed that. What is it about the company that supports the services and products that you offer that aligns with the buy-in? I'll give you an example so you understand. Let's just say that I offer duct cleaning. Is duct cleaning on my website? Is duct cleaning in our social media posts? Is duct cleaning represented everywhere and anywhere in our company? Or is it just something that we want our technicians to talk about? See, if I want my technicians to talk about something and there's no support on the back end or the front end of marketing to support them, they why would they talk about it? Because when they leave, the customer is going to jump online and look and go, and then there's nothing that supports that. Accessibility to information is huge. All right. So another way that is helpful for technicians is QR codes or brochures. If you still want to print out brochures, go ahead. We've got some things that we have hard copied. But QR codes. So if I go to somebody's house and I noticed that their indoor unit is filthy and it needs to be cleaned, and I can look up and down and in and around, and I can recognize immediately that their duct system also needs to be cleaned. And that's something that we offer. It's my responsibility as the professional to just let the customer know that. So when I get done, I'm going to say, Mrs. Jones, I've got your air conditioner running again. I also wanted to let you know that we offer duct cleaning, and it's something that I think you should consider at some point. She's going to say, nope, I'm not interested. And that's okay. I'm not offended. Doesn't hurt, doesn't bother me at all. Or she may say, okay, well, tell me more about that. Well, part of the evaluation that we do beyond just fixing the part and replacing it is we like to assess everything. And, looking in the ductwork, when I was looking at the system, there's a pretty large collection of just age, dirt, and debris. Duct systems get dirty. It's not your house; it's everybody's house. I just want you to know that we have a solution for that if you ever want to get your ducts cleaned. And she might say, well, how much does that cost? Well, if it's okay with you, Mrs. Smith, let me go around the house and count how many registers you have. Is it okay to go into the other rooms? They'll let you go into the other rooms. You can count the registers, measure how long the ductwork is, and your technician should be able to price that right there in front of them. This is where because I've completely changed the model. We run a completely different model. It's counterintuitive to most companies. I don't have a dedicated salesperson. Fucking hate dedicated salespeople. I don't like managing them. I don't like the way that they talk to customers, and I don't like the customers feel like that they've been sold. Our technicians, anybody, literally anybody, our EFI, our project manager, anyone except our level 1 technicians can sell in our company. So everybody is trained the same way. Everybody understands the products and services that we offer. Everybody knows how to price, and our project manager manages that system. Okay. So if you're going to price a job, he just confirms it, but you can price the job. So if you want your technicians to perform, they need to be available to give the price right then and there. If your system is to go, well, that's a great question. Let's get you on the schedule and let's get our indoor air quality specialist out here to take a look at this. They can give you a price. I fucking hate that system, because now we have broken the relationship with that client, and now we're handing them off into a completely different system when the person that they trust is in front of them. I would rather commission my technicians to sell that job as have a system where we prolong the pain and get an indoor air quality specialist out there to talk to you about our options. Shut up. If that technician can talk to that customer and that technician understands and believes that we do duct cleanings, we do offer indoor air quality as far as UV light filtration, those types of things. I'll give you a couple different options, Mrs. Jones, because we have packages. But let me see what we've got. They can put that together. They should be able to put that together and offer that to to the client. But that's why you have to have an entire structured system and support system for the technician to be the hero. The UV light, or let me just change this up a little bit. Let me get away from indoor air quality a little bit. I'm going to talk about one of the common practices, common misunderstandings. Again, I'm going to talk heavily into HVAC terms right now, but just understand it's the principle. Companies have repairmen, and repairmen attack the symptom, not the problem. Here's what I mean. If you call me out to your house in the middle of summer and the capacitor on that outdoor unit is bad, 9 times out of 10, 9 companies out of 10, probably 99 companies out of 100 will come out there, replace the capacitor, give you an invoice, and leave. If your customer is paying you a diagnostic fee and you don't diagnose the entire system, you're stealing from that customer. So when you go out and you find a bad capacitor, you need to check the fan motor, check the coil, check the contactor, check the indoor blower, check the thermostat, check the filter, check the registers, check the coil, check the drain, check the other components, and build out an entire list of concerns that you have. If you don't do that, you're stealing from your customer because they are paying you to diagnose their whole system. This is the difference in fixing the symptom and troubleshooting the problem. So you have to do a full evaluation. I will also tell you that the number one reason for callbacks is a poor diagnostic, a poor evaluation, or a partial diagnostic. Also, the difference in repairman and technician, the repairman doesn't know why the capacitor failed. The technician can look at that and go, all right, there's typically only a few reasons why this part would fail. Bad connections, dirty outdoor coil, high amp draw from the compressor. All right, we need to figure out why this capacitor failed. And I'm going to put 4 in there because I know heat tears up capacitors because it drives up head pressure, drives up amp draw, drives up everything, and the capacitors fail. They fail constantly in the summertime in the hottest part. I know, I get it. But the technician is going to be able to look at that and go, this failed because the outdoor coil was dirty. So to properly solve the problem, instead of fix the symptom, we need to change the capacitor and wash the outdoor unit. So we need to explain that to the customer. Mrs. Jones, this part failed. These parts have a tendency to fail when this happens. That outdoor coil needs maintenance done on it. We can wash the coil. This is the cost. We can replace the capacitor, and this is the cost. This is what I recommend you do. Communication is the key. I think your job as the professional and as the technician is to inform and educate your customer. That is your job. It's your responsibility to educate and inform that customer. I verbally tell this to every client that I work with. My job is to give you all of the information that you need to make whatever decision is in your best interest. I physically, verbally, legitimately tell every customer that because it's the truth. If I make a list of recommendations and I look at it and I'm like, good, this coil needs a UV treatment, or they need a duct cleaning, or this unit needs maintenance, or they need a hard start kit, or like, it's my job to list that out. And it's my job to make those offers. And it's my job to inform and educate. It's not my job to spend the customer's money. It's their job to spend their money, but they can't spend anything with you if they don't have all the information. So if you're asking your customer to spend money with you without giving them all the information, you're a fucking scam. Educate your clients. Listen, people don't want the best thing for the cheapest amount of money. That is a myth. There is a very, very slim, thin percentage of people that actually think that way. What people really want is they want their problem solved, and they want the amount of money that they spend to be equivalent to the value that they receive. I know this because we are not the cheapest HVAC company. And you know this because if there's anyone in your industry that is more expensive than you, myth busted. It has nothing to do with your price. It has everything to do with the way that you treat your customer, the way that you communicate with them, the way that you educate them, the way that the team is treated, the way that the employees believe in what the company does. That has everything to do. Because if there is one company that is more expensive than you, that is in business, you cannot tell me its price. It's solutions, value, and education. And all of that comes from communication. So technicians understand that they need to be really good at communicating with the client. And I tell my team this all the time: never sell something to somebody that they don't need. Never sell something that they don't need. That is a rule. I will chew your ass if you sell something to somebody that sells someone something they don't need, because that means you lied to them. But on the other side of that, if they don't know that we do duct cleanings, if they don't know about all of the services that we offer, they're going to call somebody else if they want something. If they want a programmable thermostat, if they want a water softening system, if they want solar, if they want whatever, pick your service, whatever it is that you offer. If your customer doesn't know about that, then they're going to call somebody else. And that's why I was touching on the QR codes earlier. And this is something we're developing, so I don't want you to think I'm being a hypocrite about it right now. You should have a services page on your website, and every technician should have on their clipboard, their iPad, whatever it is that you guys use, should have a QR code that the customer can scan and sends them right to it. You want to talk about a really easy way to educate your customer? You go into a call and go, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, I know we're here to do maintenance again. Hey, we've got some really cool things that we're offering now. Nothing's required or recommended, but we just added some information on our website. If you'll scan this QR code, it'll show you all of the cool things that we offer as a company." And they should be able to scan that code, take them to the landing page, and it literally lists out all of the services that you offer. And anything that you have that is not quote specific, it should have a price with it. If you've got, again, a water softening system, water heater replacement, um, kind of, I'm going to say generalized or generic water heater replacement, thermostat replacement, disconnect, like whatever services that you're offering, you should have your prices attached to as many of that as possible. And here's why: it alleviates the pain of the technician having to overcome the obstacle of price. If the customer looks at that and there's a UV light on there and it's $700, and they come back and go, "Hey, will you tell me more about this UV light?" Or, "Hey, I'm interested." Or, "Hey, does this help with allergies?" The customer already knows how much it costs. So the price obstacle is already handled. Now they want education. So the technician doesn't have to overcome price objection. They just have to educate the customer. And if you go back to the buy-in and the technician believes in the product that they're having, and the technician has the UV light in their own home, because you put it in there for them so they could understand and receive the benefits, all they got to do is educate the customer. And the customers are going to go, "Well, what does it take to put that in?" And they're going to go, "I can put it in today. Yeah, we believe in them so much, we keep them on the truck. I can put that in today if you want me to go ahead and take care of it." Done. Like, there's no selling there. It's educating. You give them a pathway to learn and understand the services and products that you offer. You made the obstacle of price. You've mitigated the obstacle of price, and you've set your technicians up to be successful with serving the customer and educating them. No technician likes to sit in front of a client, brag about the thing that they have, and then when it comes to price, they have no confidence in the price, because technicians didn't sign up to be salespeople. Technicians signed up to be technicians. Repairmen signed up to work for the company down the street that doesn't give a shit, because I don't like repairmen. I like technicians. The next step is you have to train this. Now, here's a little self-promoting, a little selfish or selfless plug. Selfish plug. It's definitely a selfish plug. I have created a communication/sales, but a communication training program for in-home technicians. It's called RVT training, repairman versus technician. It's a culmination of the 2+ decades that I have spent in customers' homes and what I have learned and how to mitigate all of the sleazy feel bullshit that comes along with high pressure sales and upselling. So I offer a training program for that. So if this podcast episode relates to you, like hit me up. I'll give you a proposal to come to your company, train you and your technicians on how to serve the customer and how to educate and how to ask better questions. Okay. So selfish plug there. But my point of that is you got to train this. You can't just tell people, go, hey, here's all the things that we offer. Here are all the prices. Here's the goals. You guys need to sell 2 of these a piece a week and we'll hit our numbers. And here's what the commission is. Like, that sucks. You need to constantly work with your team on how to do it. You need to do ride-alongs with your team. You need to teach them what to look for, what questions to ask, how to drive traffic to your education. Like, all of your everything that you do about the company, it can't revolve only about what you do. It really needs to be focused on who you are and why you do it. So I'll give you an example. Back to UV treatment, because it's a ozonation and UV treatment, all this shit. It's fucking trendy. But it's been around for years, but people don't know that. If I have a landing page on my website and it only tells me, if I go in there and look at UV and it only tells me what it does, that's not helpful. I want to look at that and it can tell me what it does, but I want you to tell me why you think this is the better product, who you are. I want to look on there and go, yeah, all of our technicians have this particular light in their home. That's how much we believe in this. This is what it does, but why we chose this particular one is because the maintenance factor or accessibility or availability, or, this is another thing I fucking hate with upsell is you sell me something and then I don't know until a year later when you come back that there's maintenance required with the thing that you sold me. I'm like, well, what do you mean? No. I paid $650 for that last year. Yeah, but you've got to replace this piece every year and it's $150. What? You could tell me that? You weren't transparent and honest and upfront? Fuck you. Like, I will not call your company back again because you lied to me and now you're trying to steal from me. Be transparent with people about the things that you offer. Here's the life expectancy of the thing. Here's what the average maintenance cost of this is going to be, or this is how much you're going to need to spend to maintain it in 3 years. Like, you've got to tell people that, inform and educate, give them all of the information so they can make the best decision. I'm telling you, this is a long-term play, because this is a really, really good job at seed planting. And this is the problem that I have with upsell companies is they want you to generate the revenue right now. And I understand you're going to have some people do that. And again, you need to generate revenue, and I get that. But when you just inform and educate people, you plant so many seeds, and you will be able to harvest those seeds in the future, because you're going to go back and do maintenance in 6 months, or they're going to call you in a year and go, hey, we got a price on that water softening system from you guys. We'd like to see if that price is still good, or when you guys could start that project, right? Like, you plant these seeds. You also get to cultivate those seeds. If I'm in an HVAC and I talk to you about a UV light and I come back in 6 months, I'm going to Mrs. Smith, you still want that UV light? And she might say no, and be like, okay, cool, no worries, just wanted to check while I'm here. Like, I'm not going to pressure my customers to buy anything. It's disgusting. But you've got to have buy-in. You've got to have products and services that your team believes in. You've got to have open, transparent ways of pricing and communication. You've got to focus on informing and educating your clients. And you need to keep track. You need to keep score. You need to do training. You need to have constant communication. And this isn't about high pressure sales. It's just about the fact, and this is what I tell my team. Look, if they don't know that we do it, they'll call somebody that they know does it. I don't want my competitor in my client's house to do something that we do, but the only reason the competitor is there is because they don't know that we do it. It's that simple. If your client likes you and your company and your technicians and they trust you, they would rather spend money with you. People buy from people they like, but regardless of how much they like you, if they don't know that you offer it or provide it, they'll call somebody else. So that's why, again, the support system, the support structure is is really important to help your technicians win. The technician shouldn't be talking about anything in the home that's not readily available with all of the public information that you have. Again, website, social media, QR codes, landing pages, whatever it is. You should be putting all of that out first and make a big deal out of it. Do social media posts, drive it to a landing page. Hey, just got some great news. We're offering this new product. This is what it does. This is who it's for. If you'd like to learn more about it, please let us know. You're like, whatever. I'm not a marketing person, but you have to step back and you have to ask. You really got to ask your technicians, like, what does being a successful technician mean to them? You need to understand what that is, because if that completely misaligns with what being a successful technician inside your company is, you're either going to have to coach them and level them up to close that gap, or they will leave. And if it's too far and you're like, no, like, why do you not understand that you need to generate $2,500 a day as a technician? Like on average, why do you not understand that? Well, it's not my job to worry about the revenue. It's not your job to worry about the revenue. It's your job to solve problems. When you solve problems, people pay us money. Money is revenue. So the revenue that you produce should be a direct reflection of the quality of problems that you're solving. And again, I don't want to drive by one of my competitor or by one of my clients and see a competitor's yard sign in it because they did something that we do and they didn't know it. So I'll get off that merry-go-round there, because look, this is difficult. When you have people in the company that have always done it a certain way and now they don't know why they have to upsell, they're not going to do it. You're going to constantly get met with resistance, and they're going to constantly feel like they're being micromanaged or reprimanded or they're failing. You've got to remove that layer, and you've got to get everybody in line. And again, ask the question, what makes us different than every other company? Does everyone here believe that we're the best company in our area at this thing? Yes or no? So does everyone think that because we're the best that we should charge the least? Anybody here? Okay, everybody here wants to be the best technician. Does anyone here want to be the best technician and make the least amount of money? No. Okay. So what is the best technician? Help me understand what that means to you. Define for me what being the best technician is. And again, find out what that gap is and then coach them and educate them. At the end of the day, and I'm going to help you. I'm going to help everybody listening to this, because here's what I want you to understand. I don't care what industry you're in. You're a solutions company in the people business, period. You just specialize in something, but you are in the people business. People buy from people they like. People don't remember what you do, but they always remember how you make them feel. Never sell something that they don't need, but you'll never offer something if you don't believe in it. Your job is to inform and educate people so they can make the best decision for them. It's not your job to find their money, and it's not your job to sell them shit that they don't need. If you want to create the best experience for your customer, get to know your customer. Get to understand what's important to them. Identify their wants or needs. Be honest and transparent. When you see something wrong, say that it's wrong. When you see something that's concerning, just tell them. People don't know what they don't know. And not only do they not know they have a problem, they don't know that there's a solution for it. You build trust. You learn how to communicate successfully with your clients. They'll take your word for it because you are the professional. So when you make a recommendation, it has to be with truth. It has to come from a place of belief. And you have to know, they need to know that you know it's in their best interest, because people sniff it out. And I'll close by saying this. If you're going to be the best technician, you have chosen to take on a responsibility of being the best. That's not the best part changer. It's not the best diagnostic. It's not the best welder. It's not the best builder. It's not the best thing. What that means is you made a promise to develop yourself and your skills in a way that can best serve the customer. And that means identifying their wants and needs, identifying and understanding their concerns, being able to communicate with them, inform and educate them in a manner that allows them to make the best decision for them. That is a winning formula. I promise you it's a winning formula. I hate upselling. I hate the pressure sales. I just want to serve people. If they've got something, I just let them know that they need it. They may not buy it today, but they might buy it tomorrow. Guys, thanks for spending this time with me. Okay. If you're interested in the RVT training, shoot me an email at the tradesmanexperience@gmail.com or just DM me on one of the socials. The Instagram is @BlueCollarInsiders. Let's get something set up. I would love to help you overcome this fear and disgust of high pressure selling and upsells. But otherwise, be proud to be a tradesman. Get shit done.